was walking home from school on Friday when she passed old Mrs. Burke. "Why, hello there, Melissa," Mrs. Burke said. "I haven't seen you for ages. Would you like to stop in for some cookies?" No, thank you, Mrs. Burke," Melissa said nervously, and she quickly ran down the block. When Melissa was younger, she used to visit Mrs. Burke, but now that she was in school, the other children had told her that Mrs. Burke was a witch. It had to be true. Last week, didn't Melissa see Mrs. Burke talking to her black cat? And didn't Mrs. Burke pick apples from the tree in her backyard? Melissa had found out from the other children that the old lady poisoned them and gave them out on Halloween to children she didn't like. Melissa realized that she had been wrong to be friends with Mrs. Burke, and that is why she said yes when Jamie dared her to play a trick on that mean old witch who lived down the street. On Monday afternoon, Melissa slowly crept up the walk to Mrs. Burke's house and tacked a large note to Mrs. Burke's door. Then she rang the doorbell and ran down the street to where Jamie was hiding. They looked back at Mrs. Burke's house. "She sure is taking her time," Jamie whispered. Melissa nodded, and then she saw Mrs. Burke open the door. Mrs. Burke was smiling, as if she were going to meet a friend. But when she saw the note, she stopped smiling. The note read, "Mrs. Burke is old and mean, the ugliest witch we've ever seen." Mrs. Burke stared at the note for a long time. Then she took it down, shivered slightly in the cold, and slowly went back in. "Oh boy, Melissa," said Jamie, "you are so brave." Melissa smiled, but she wondered why she didn't feel as good as she thought she would. The next day, as Melissa was walking home from school, she got a surprise. Standing at the mailbox was a small bear with 2 hearts on its tummy. The bear held a large stack of envelopes, and every time she wanted to mail one, she seemed to float up to the mail slot and then float down to the ground again with a soft bump. "What are you doing here?" Melissa asked. "Mailing friendship notes," the bear said happily. "I love to have friends." "Oh, you must know a lot of people," Melissa said. "I know a lot of people who need friendship," said the bear. "Do you live around here?" Melissa asked. "I've never seen you before." "No, I live in Care-a-Lot, the warm and snuggly home of the Care Bears. It's very nice," said the bear. "It was just that the mailbox I always use was filled up." The bear crossed the street, and Melissa, who had never seen such an unusual bear before, followed. "Who are you?" Melissa asked. "I'm Love-a-Lot. I help people love each other. If love doesn't find a way, I will." Love-a-Lot leaned over and scooped up some snow and made it into a heart-shaped snowball. "This is for you," she said to Melissa. Then Love-a-Lot made another snow heart. She ran up Mrs. Burke's walk and put it on her porch. Melissa was so startled to find that they were in front of Mrs. Burke's house that she turned and ran down the block. Love-a-Lot trotted after her. "Why did you do that? Don't you know who lives there?" Melissa asked. "Everybody needs love," Love-a-Lot replied. "Even witches?" "Even lonely old ladies," said Love-a-Lot gently. "Especially lonely old ladies." "But everyone knows she's a witch," Melissa insisted. "Everyone says she's a witch. All the kids are afraid of her." "Then Mrs. Burke must need a lot of love," said Love-a-Lot softly. "Don't you think so?" Then Love-a-Lot made another snow heart. "For you." "Thank you," said Melissa. "But why are you giving me another one?" "Why keep my heart to myself?" Love-a-Lot smiled. "It makes me happier to give it to someone. Well, I'd better be going. I've got some more notes to write." And the little bear scampered away. Melissa walked the rest of the way to her house and up to her room as she thought about Love-a-Lot's words. When she got to her room, she discovered another Care Bear, a little yellow one sitting on her desk. Melissa gasped in surprise. "Who are you?" she asked. "I'm Birthday Bear. Love-a-Lot told all us Care Bears about you, so I came to see you," he said. Melissa was puzzled. "But my birthday isn't for 2 months." "I know, but there is someone else we both know whose birthday is the day after tomorrow." Melissa wondered who Birthday Bear was talking about. Birthday Bear floated off the desk. "But it's so hard to plan anything when I'm hungry." He looked at Melissa hopefully. "You wouldn't happen to have a jelly sandwich with you?" "No, but I could make one." "Yes, please," said Birthday Bear. "And some soda to wash it down." "You'll get fat if you eat too much of this stuff," said Melissa, after she had brought the food up from the kitchen. "No, I won't. The only food that is fattening is peanuts." "How do you know?" Melissa asked. "Did you ever see a skinny elephant?" Birthday Bear was so pleased with his answer that he rolled on the floor and laughed and laughed. "Oh, I do love a joke," he said as he got up. "But now it's time to be serious and get to work."